Welcome back to the Online Empire. I'm Mark Arnold, and in this episode, we're going to talk about 10 ways you can start up an automotive business for $1,000 or less. Therefore, why I believe no car guy should ever be broke. Okay, so this video does come with a disclaimer. Of course, people can be broke, and there's obviously millions of reasons why that could be the case. But today in particular, I want to talk about 10 different ways you guys can get into the market, maybe as a side hustle, apart from your daytime job, to earn a bit of coin and put towards your car rather than just slugging away on the bones of your ass. Also, side note, today I'm working without a microphone, so hopefully the audio isn't too bad. Okay, so without harping on too much, guys, I really wanted to drive home why I'm actually making this video. It may not look like it, but Andrea and I have been getting into this Bronco. We're getting a lot of shit ready so we can finally put the new interior in, and I'm really excited to get this out, hopefully in the next week or so to you. But there were so many steps along the way that really I thought this would be perfect for someone wanting to have a crack as a bit of a side hustle. The reason I am a massive believer in the side hustle outside of work hours, getting shit done, is that's the only way I ever got ahead. I didn't come from money, very middle class upbringing, and I realized quickly that you'll only get so far relying on your 9 to 5 money and income. Unless you're on a big wicket and you're earning good money, you're in a different ball game. I'm talking about the commoner bloke that goes to work, comes home, and then goes out and tinkers in the shed and may not have a lot of money. So if you're able to sacrifice a little bit of personal time to do a bit of a side hustle, get a bit of money to get ahead, let's talk about 10 reasons how and why. All right, here we are, first cab off the rank. I've done all the rust repairs in the floor of this Bronco. This thing was like Fred Flintstone's car. You can see the ground. We've finally got past all that and then onto the fun stuff. I've installed some car builder's sound deadener. Now, this is a massive, massive industry now, especially with a lot of guys that are into four-wheel driving. Obviously, people that are doing full restoration stuff, but your four-wheel drive guys are turning the industry upside down. Those guys are not afraid to spend money, and they're trying to go above and beyond with their builds. And a lot of those guys are doing a lot of Ks, a lot of country driving. So the demand for sound deadening in cars, I believe, has grown massively. Obviously, in addition to those who are doing restoration work. So people that are doing resto interior stuff would usually get this done as they're doing the build. So this may not be your market, but people that are wanting to upgrade their cars, like four-wheel drive dudes, people that may do a lot of traveling, or you never know where that next job's going to come from. A lot of people are paying big bucks to get sound deadening installed in a car. Now, the cost to set up to do this sort of work is pretty minimal. Now, you're going to need a basic toolkit, maybe some specialty tools to undo door trims and clips and stuff like that. But realistically, you could probably get into this for probably a few $100s with tools. And obviously, you're going to have to learn this trade. You're going to have to do your own car, get a bit of confidence behind you before you start putting yourself out there to customers. But there are definitely people out there that pay big bucks to get this sound deadening installed. This is easily something you can start on the cheap. Obviously, you're going to have to learn it on the way. Most of these trades, most of these things that we're going to be talking about today are going to be self-taught things that you're just going to have to build the confidence yourself, learn the skill, and get started. While we're here, we'll talk about hood linings. Now, we were lucky that the Bronco here had a molded fitted hood lining. Basically, these sorts of hood linings came pretty much from probably the 80s, maybe the late 80s onwards. And it was common in nearly every car ever that the hood lining sags and come off. Now, we obviously done this in a pretty fruity style. This is like a tapestry style thing. We wanted to do something a little bit different. Generally, this would have just been a straight cream color, boring, would look great. But we want to do something a little bit different with the inspiration of the 70s flower power era. Apart from pulling some trims down, getting that thing out, you can spray a hood lining. You can install a hood lining in probably a couple of hours. If you're really good, maybe less. I've done a few of them and I've spent maybe 2 to 3 hours from start to finish. And of course, once again, self-taught, YouTube that shit and you will learn how to do it. You're going to get better and you're going to get quicker with time. But that is definitely something it's so commonly needed, and a lot of people don't want to tackle that. There's some money to be made in doing hood lining. Once again, tools, very minimal. Basic toolkit, maybe some specialty tools to undo some clips, very similar to the sound deadening. You'll need some spray adhesive, but that's more of a consumable. Honestly, outlay to get started in this, you wouldn't be spending more than a few $100. Okay, so here we are with another one, headlight restoration. Now, we done a video recently on Andrea's Fairlane. I 2-packed a set of headlights. They come out mint. I'm really happy with how they worked out. These particular headlights have actually been polished. That's also an option. Personally, I don't think it lasts quite as long, but that's an option for you as well. Now, getting into paint work, once again, you can have a crack yourself, do your own headlights, do some mates, do some families' cars, until you get a bit of confidence, and then put the word out there that you're doing it. A lot of people have this issue with their cars, and they are more than happy to outsource that job, and perfect for someone like you to do on the side. Winnie, what do you reckon? Jesus. And you know what? While we're here, let's talk Whitewall tires. This is where I started. I done Whitewall tires for about 13 years. I started doing this on the side. I'd finish work at 4 o'clock. I'd head out. I'd do 1 or 2 cars. And I'd done that for many years, to a point where I actually quit the day job and went out full time doing Whitewall tires. You can earn anywhere from $150 up to over $200 on a single set of Whitewall tires. This is going to be a job you might struggle to get in for $1,000, but if you keep a keen eye out, you do see these machines and setups to get going on marketplace secondhand. If you were to buy everything new, you won't get in for $1,000. You might be up for 2 or 3, but if you're savvy or even build your own machine, you'll get in for $1,000, and there is some really serious money to be made in Whitewall tires. Also, you know what? I'm going to up the game. Not only are we going to be talking about 10 businesses for under $1,000, I'm going to talk businesses that can fit in the boot of a sedan for under $1,000. Everything so far will fit in the boot, including Whitewall tires. Here's another one, guys. Commodore restoration. No, I'm only kidding. But this faded roof got me thinking of another one. So it is really common for a lot of these cars to get your clear coat peel, start to break down, look a bit scrappy. An option for people, rather than getting it painted, which can obviously be expensive, or doing a half-assed measure, which doesn't really last too long. Another option is actually like putting a wrap over the top of it, which obviously leads into general vehicle wrapping. So I've had a car before, it was a Falcon, I reckon, and the roof was knackered. It was a black car. I'd wrapped it with a satin black roof, and it actually looked really good. It was the cheapest option at the time for me to get the car looking respectable without spending a massive amount of money. I didn't know how to wrap. I had to pay someone to do the wrapping. Now, generally, vehicle wrapping would be done by a sign writer or someone that's come from the sign trade. But that doesn't mean that you can't learn these things for yourself. A lot of people do window banners or door banners or just general graphics. It is a really common thing to be done, and there's no reason why you guys can't learn that yourself. Once again, a pretty basic set of tools to get out there and get started, buy some materials and just start practicing. Once you got it down pat, put it out there. A bunch of people would be keen to get some vehicles wrapped, whether it's single panels or banners or something like that, right up to full cars when you get the confidence. But yeah, vehicle wrapping, another one. All right, so here's another one. While we're talking about sticky stuff, why not tinting? Window tinting is another perfect example for something that you can done on the side without a bunch of outlay when it comes to tooling. Obviously, do your Google, do your search, do your YouTubing, find out what you need to get started, buy some materials, do your own cars, and once you've got the confidence, put it out there. A lot of people would more than happily pay a bit of cash on the side to get some tinting done on their own car. A lot of people don't want to have a crack themselves, and a lot of people don't have the money to spend to go to the big branches. So side hustle, window tinting, you never know. That might end up being a full-time job. Oh yeah, here we are in the paddock of doom, or the paddock of dreams, depending on how you look at it. Here's where all the scrap cars are. Now, a lot of these cars we own because they have some parts that we really need for other projects. This is a factory V8 Chrysler. That's a factory V8 Fairlane. There's a lot of good bits and pieces on these things. Now, this is going to be a bit more of a niche. Generally, car guys know what parts are hard to come by, know what parts are sought after. More so old school cars, the parts, a lot of people want genuine parts. Some things are obsolete, some things are rare, whatever the case may be. Parts restoration. So I don't know if this bonnet opens, but we'll try it. Oh yeah. All right, so in here we got an original car. If you're a tinkerer and like farting around, you like attention to detail, it's going to chew up a lot of your time, but it might be what you're into. If you pull off some parts off a car like this, let's say a wiper motor, get it out, make sure everything works, check all the wiring if you're good at that sort of stuff, detail it up. I'm talking parts detail restoration. This is probably something better if you don't want to deal with customers. You can detail some parts. It could be anything. It could be a set of wheels. It could be more intricate parts, engine parts, original air cleaners, things like this. Clean them up, detail them, paint them, whatever the case may be. Let your skill set evolve as you work on these things, and literally just sell them off. And people, enthusiasts that need these parts are going to jump at that. Refurbished part, highly detailed, ready to put straight on the car. It works. It replaces their broken one. This is another really good side hustle for those that maybe want to tinker in the shed and don't want to have to deal with customers. Here's the next one. Boom, paintless dent removal. Maybe not this dent, but of course you guys know that paintless dent removal is a massive thing. Now you can get into this in regards to tooling quite cheap. You can get kits. Obviously this will evolve as you get better tools, but I bought myself a paintless dent removal kit and I probably spent like a couple $100. I had a crack and it's pretty bloody hard. You're gonna have to do a lot of Googling, a lot of YouTubing, and a hell of a lot of practice. Or if you want to go that next step, you could do a course. There are courses available. Thought about doing it myself. There wasn't one in my state, so I didn't go down that path, but that is another really good one. Paintless dent removal. There's really good money in it, and realistically, people are really happy to spend the money if it saves repainting a panel of their car. Quite often one dent could equal a respray of nearly half a car. So paintless dent removal is another massive one. All right guys, here we are, number who knows what, auto electrical. Okay, so hold up. Maybe not general auto electrical, that's pretty tricky. But if you're a bit of a wiring guru and you're pretty good with that sort of stuff, another one is car audio. Now, car audio has changed over the years, of course. Back in the day, having a colored screen on your stereo was the bee's knees. Nowadays, it's changed. We're talking a bit more in-depth stuff, but there is still a massive trade. There is still a massive industry in car audio. So, whether it's installing an aftermarket in-dash car stereo, or something a little bit more basic like reverse cameras. A lot of people want reverse cameras or reverse sensors for parking, all that sort of stuff. A lot of cars still don't have that stuff, but people want the mod cons, and that is totally available in the aftermarket. And if you're a wiring guy and you're pretty good with that sort of stuff, that's definitely something that you could have a crack at, because a lot of people, it's way over their head, mostly including me. Okay, while we make our way to the last few jobs, let's not gloss over the fact that we know a lot of things that you do on a car, a lot of work that's carried out, needs to be done by a professional or by a licensed mechanic or whatever the case may be. I've tried to pick jobs that don't require any of this stuff. Of course, you're gonna have to do that research yourself to find out if it's applicable, but generally speaking, most of this stuff can be done by anyone. Okay, so I did fail maths every chance I could at school, but I'm pretty sure we're at number 10. So for those who are familiar with the channel would know that recently we installed a bunch of blast stuff. These guys are absolute gurus when it comes to car detailing. Detailing, the most simple of all. Who hasn't already thought of the detailing? I'm sure you guys thought of some jobs yourself that I haven't even mentioned in the video. So if you have, leave a comment below of what you think would be a great side hustle that maybe you've done, or maybe someone else should have a crack at doing. But car detailing, who hasn't washed their parents' car as a kid for $2? Actually, I think I've done mine for free, but I should have been charging. So car detailing is absolute entry-level stuff. You guys know that you can get in the trade super easy. You don't even need the high-end stuff like this blast. We put this thing in recently with a vacuum cleaner, and this is making car detailing so much easier. But if you just want a grassroots stuff, literally the garden tap, a bucket, some sponges, and some suds, and you can do car detailing. Actually start at the bottom, and evolve your business. You can totally do this. Who doesn't want their car cleaned? Who's going to pay for it? I don't know, but I know there are tons of people out there that pay to have their car detailed, and why can't that be you? Do some detailing, and you know what? We're going to do one better. I'm going to throw an extra one in for free. So I know I said that I started in Whitewall tires, but that's actually a lie. Where I really started was literally car flipping. The good thing about car flipping is that it's non-taxed. You can jump on me in the comments and just tell me all the rules and regulations in your area and what the government will let you do and whatnot. But the fact of the matter is, you can flip personal cars without tax. And even if you are taxed, it's still money to be made. It can be made in your own time. You don't have to deal with customers. Yeah, of course you have to flip it on the arse end, but there is so much money to be made in car flipping. Now, mind you, I started this as a teenager, buying the scrappiest Datsuns you've ever seen, learning on the job. I had no idea what I was doing, but I got through the job. I made it look better. I put the effort in that the last guy wasn't prepared to do, and I made that car more valuable in the process. You know, I didn't make a lot of money starting off. I started off maybe flipping a car for $500, $1,000 more. That was good earnings for me, and I do it over a weekend or two. There is money to be made everywhere and anywhere. So I just think that more people could have a crack than they do. Of course, everyone has their own scenario. Everyone has their own restraints. I don't know if you're physically, mentally capable. I don't know if you have the time. Whatever the case may be, obviously it's going to vary from everyone. Only you can answer that question for yourself. But bottom line is, if you have time and you're spending working on your own car, but you don't have enough money to get to that next step, sacrifice a bit of your own time after hours and do some grinding. There is seriously money to be made. You know, I talk to people about this sort of stuff all the time. You guys know Jake from Jake's Chop Shop. He started literally right here. At I think 16 years old, Jake didn't even have a license yet, and he'd get his mum to go pick up trailers that he found on the trading post and pick them up for like $300, tow them back to the house, and then he'd fix them up. He was doing a welding apprenticeship at the time, and he would put new floors in them and paint the wheels up and put hubcaps on them or whatever the case is, and literally flip trailers. I mean, at the end of the day, you just have to use your imagination, use your initiative, get out there and freaking grind, and I guarantee you'll start moving ahead. All right, there it is, guys. 10 or more ways you can get into the automotive trade, start a business for under $1,000, get out there, side hustle, start earning some extra chaff, and grow your empire. That's it for this time around. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, check out the online store if you want to support my channel, and of course, leave me a comment. Let me know what you reckon, give me your 2 cents worth, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.